Hi, this is Erin from BlossyB. Welcome to my channel. The plan for this video is to decorate a terracotta pot and plant it out as a cute gift. I'm going to create an abstract design on the pot using nail foils and PVA glue, and then I'm going to laser engrave a plant tag, pop in a plant and finish it off ready to gift. So I have got a little terracotta pot. This one's got a little hairline crack in it, but I'm not worried. This is just for investigating to see what we can do. I've got some nail foils and I've got some PVA glue. So I'm going to pop a little bit of the glue. I'll just use a little stick onto the top of this little paper cup, and I want to see if I can get some of the nail foils adhering to the pot in a sort of a crazy random pattern. So let's see how we go. So I'm just using a fairly stiff clean brush, and let's see, I'm just going to literally and here we go. Now, as to how long to leave it, I'm just going to have a feel. It feels tacky fairly quickly actually, so I'm just going to snip off a piece of this so it's a little bit easier for me to handle. Oops. And let's just see if we've got any adhesion yet. So as I said, I'm looking for a sort of a patchy effect. And in fact we do. So let's see how far we can go with this. So we're looking for spots that we've missed or where we've got a lot of extra. You can try to go over it, but I don't think I really want to. I think I'm really looking for that sort of in a look, and that's not too bad. Okay, let's go again and do the next little section. As I said, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for something patchy and pretty. It's just a little idea I had for decorating, you know, a little rustic style pot. And I'll cut a little piece off. So this nail foil would almost certainly have come from, I think, AliExpress back in the day, and they're super cheap. They're not good quality at all, and I certainly don't mind sacrificing some of it to test out this idea. Okay, so yeah, we're getting pretty good pattern. So I can definitely feel that the PVA glue is sticky, but it's not sort of wet. And I don't know why it's drying so fast or doing that so quickly, but it's perfect for what we want. See, that one took stuff away. So you've got to be careful you don't go over it too much. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. And then just to finish off the pot, So this is just a product by BlossyB and the Clag brand. I don't know how many of you would remember using Clag at school. It was very goopy. And it's just a PVA. It's child safe, water wash up, all those good things. I'll just cut this little piece in half. And so, see how that's white? My feeling is if I try to put this on there while it's white, it won't work. So let's test that theory out on a piece that is not. Yeah, and it worked perfectly. So I'm just going to do the bottom here. Nope, there goes my theory. I'm not sort of doing much here apart from just sort of getting it over as much of the surface as I can. And I'll do that little bit there. See if I can get a little bit more. I think that might be it. So for a first coat, I'm super happy with that. As I said, it's just an alternative really. It's a different way of using up these nail foils, and it's going to give me a very cute little pot. All right, so I am now going to attempt to go over this layer, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a layer all over it, like a protective layer. I'm sort of dragging it out there. And just keep going all the way around. So the problem, terracotta pots are gorgeous and I love them, and I've got some, but the problem is that unless they are sealed, you just have to constantly keep them wet, because the terracotta, everything just goes straight through it. It's so dry. So if you water a pot, a terracotta pot, the water can just go straight through. Now, the glue that I'm using is quite thick. I would say that it's probably several years old and has thickened up a bit. So if you're going to have a go at this, just take that into consideration. PVA glue typically goes on white and becomes clear as it dries. It's summer in Tasmania or in Australia, and it's our school holidays. It's the gap between years. So our school years run with the calendar. So you go to school, say you're in year 3, you go for all of 2024, and so then in 2025, where we are now, those students would start the next year grouping, year 4. So I have some time, which is amazing, to sort of decompress. And I was scheduled to have my hand surgery this week, but unfortunately my surgeon had to travel to support a sick family member. So yeah, it's left me a little bit at a loss and trying to come to terms with this pain and lack of movement for longer, but that's okay. There's always crafting. There's always crafting. So I'll just get a bit more on here. I'm actually surprised how much I'm enjoying this. I feel no pressure because it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's the furthest from perfect you could imagine. And I'm just interested to see what the outcome is. So I'm just going to go around the upper rim now, just to see what I can do with this. And I'll just try and do about half, because I would like to try and get some of this on there. This being the nail transfer. Let's have a little look. So I'm looking at that, and it's quite white still there. I'm just going to wait a few seconds until I sort of start seeing it get a little bit clearer. Okay, so I'll try that one. Cool. And this one. Oh, perfect. And this one. Not so perfect, but I'm not fussed. Another little one on there. All right, so that's looking really cute. I'm really liking this. Okay, go around the rest of it. I've got a bit there I can do straight away. So I'm sure if I continued doing this on other pots, which I fully intend to, I will get much better at estimating the working time I have, and what I can get away with, so to speak. Oh, that one I tried to put on back the front. Now I'm getting quite sticky here, so just keeping that in mind. I think what made me decide to do this is I was thinking just about crafting in general and how much those of us who craft spend on it and how many things we have in our cupboards that are, so I don't want to say fads. I'm sure they're not fads, but if you like, I'll tell you about me, because I only know about me. So I watch a video on YouTube and I see someone doing a technique and I have to have it. You know, you get that, I want to do that. And so I'll order the materials, and then I guess sometimes if it's from overseas it'll take a week or two to come, and then by the time they get here I think, oh, that's great, and I'll do that one day. And then what I've discovered is that often that one day does not come. That one day just becomes a fictional timeline. And so what can happen is that you end up with stashes of materials and they just sit there and they don't get used. And then sometimes they start stressing you out because they're taking up space, and then you have to do something with them. And in my case, that always involves containers and labelling and all of that. And they just don't bring you any happiness in the end. So I was sitting there contemplating all of this, as you do. And I was thinking, gosh, you know, what's the most common resource that I've bought for crafting that I haven't gone on and used? And I do have a very, very big nail foil collection. So I was thinking, oh, what could I do? You know, what could I do that's a bit different? And that's when I thought of this. So let's have a see if I can transfer just a little panel of blue. Oh yes, I can. Okay. And I'm always trying to explore ways of making art and gifts and bits and bobs that are completely unique, that, you know, no one else could ever have, because even I don't remember how I make most of the things I make. And so yeah, that's how I sort of came up with this. So I'm actually really loving how that's looking at the moment. Let me have a better look. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit of this so I can manage it a little bit better. I'm just going to see if I can get any more to it here, but I'm not going to stress if I can't. Yep, got a little bit there. Very random, isn't it? Sometimes random's good. Doesn't really matter if it's not all even and symmetrical, which is normally something I strive for. So this is quite freeing to be able to do something that's, it just doesn't matter. Okay, I'll just see if I can get a little bit more colour on here. Yes, I can. And the fact that this is just using nail foils, which are terribly cheap and pretty easy to get hold of, and a lot of us would already have a decent stash of nail foils and PVA glue, and you know, I'm putting it onto a terracotta pot, but you know, the world's your oyster. You can do this method onto resin, you could do it onto timber. I really don't think there's any limits, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so let me have a look. I actually just really love this. It sort of almost looks like a watercolour painting. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put another coat of PVA over here, and see if I can get a nice sort of even finish. So I guess it almost turns these into a glazed pot in a way. A glazed pot would be just one that's been protected with a coating, and usually you know, with a heat method, but that always helps with water retention in little pots. So we'll just go around and get this done, and this could be super cute for a cactus. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I think I've got quite a good coverage, and pretty confident that that is all going to dry really well. It's a nice warm day here in Tassie, and everything's drying quite quickly. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to just finish that, and I'll let it dry for, I'll let you know how long it takes when I come back to you, and then I'll show you what it looks like. To make my little plant tag, I used a little square of ecoresin that I had made in a little ice cube tray. And here we've got encouragement. You can do it and you've got this. So after engraving that, I just glued that onto a narrow paddle pop stick, and in a moment I'll show you the finished product. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your company when I'm crafting. If you'd like to see other videos of me using nail foils, check out the description box below. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.